Hello everyone, my name is Mini Sethi. I hope you all are staying healthy. Today we are going to talk about the meaning of conflict, types of conflict, conflict process stages and some ways to handle workplace conflict. So let's start it. So what is conflict? Conflict is disagreement between individual or group within an organization that impact overall functioning of organization. Conflict is disagreement between individual or group within an organization that impact overall functioning of organization. For example, Ram has conflict with his manager because he gave promotion to his close friend but not to Ram. Even Ram performs better than his close friend. Because of this, Ram is very stressed and he is not able to perform. Obviously, overall functioning of organization is affected. Now we will see levels of conflict, or we can say that types of conflict. Types of conflict basically divided into three parts: intrapersonal conflict, interpersonal conflict and group level conflict. One by one we discuss about each. First type of conflict is intrapersonal conflict. Intrapersonal conflict occurs within our own mind. Intrapersonal conflict occurs within our own mind when we have so many confusing thoughts. We are very confused. And intrapersonal conflict basically divided into two parts. First is goal conflict, second is role conflict. Goal conflict occurs when you have two or more goals but you are not able to achieve it simultaneously. Goal conflict occurs when you have two or more goals but you are not able to achieve it simultaneously. For example, you have two goals. First goal is complete your work as soon as possible. Second goal is bring quality in your work. Do your work accurately without making any mistake. But when you are trying to do your work very fast, then you are making very mistake. That's why you are feeling very sad because you are not able to achieve these both goals simultaneously. Second intrapersonal conflict is role conflict. Role conflict occurs when we have multiple roles to perform. Role conflict occurs when we have multiple roles to perform but we are not able to maintain balance. For example, you want to perform a role of good father. At the same time, you want to perform a role of good employees also. But you feel very sad when you are not able to spend time with your children because of so many work pressure. It will be called role conflict. Second type of conflict is interpersonal conflict. Interpersonal conflict occurs between two or more individuals. Interpersonal conflict occurs between two or more individuals. And interpersonal conflict arises when people fight for status, power, promotion, position, etc. And sometimes this conflict arises when people have differences between opinions, idea, personalities, attitude, perceptions, etc. Next type of conflict is group level conflicts. Group level conflicts mainly divided into two parts. First is intergroup conflicts, second is intra-group conflicts. Intergroup conflicts arise between two or more groups. Intergroup conflicts arise between two or more groups. On the other hand, intra-group conflict arise between the member of same group. Now we will see 5 stages of conflict process. And stages of conflict process basically tell us how conflict start and grow. First stage is potential opposition, or we can say the incompatibility. Second stage is cognition and personalization. Third stage is intention. Fourth is behavior. Last is outcomes. One by one we discuss about each. First stage of conflict process is potential opposition, or we can say the incompatibility. This stage tells us about sources from where conflict can generate. This stage tells us about sources from where conflict can generate. First source of conflict is communication. As we know, too much communication and too little communication can become cause of conflict. Second source is structure. Structure variable include group size, organization size, leadership styles, reward system, and dependency between group. Sometimes your structure can become cause of conflict. For example, you perceive your reward system is unfair and it can become cause of conflict. Last is personal variable. Sometimes personality differences can become cause of conflict. For example, authoritarian and dogmatic individual cannot accept new and reasonable ideas. Obviously, it can become cause of conflict. Second stage is cognition and personalization. In previous stage, we have discussed about sources of conflict. But in this stage, people feel and perceive conflict is existing. In this stage, people feel and perceive conflict is existing. Means now people are emotionally involved in conflict, and because of conflict they experience an anxiety, tension, stress, etc. Next stage is intention. After feeling and perceiving conflict, you will show your intention for conflict. After feeling and perceiving conflict, you will show your intention for conflict. An intention for conflict basically divided into 5 parts: competing, compromising, avoiding, collaborating, and accommodating. If your intention is competing, then you will only think about your own interest without caring about other party needs. If your intention is competing, then you will only think about your own interest without caring about other party needs. If your intention is compromising, then obviously you will do some compromise. In avoiding, you just avoid conflict. In collaborating, both parties show concern for each other. In collaborating, both parties show concern for each other. Means they will try to clarify their differences instead of competing with each other. Last is accommodating. In accommodating, you think about other party needs without caring about your own need. In accommodating, you think about other party needs without caring about your own need. You allow them to win because according to you, organizational goal, your work is very important rather than your conflict. Next stage is behavior stage. After knowing your intention, your conflict will show in your behavior. After knowing your intentions, your conflict will show in your behavior. Means now your conflict will become visible. You will use some statements or take action so that you can show your conflict. For example, your intention is competing. You are only thinking about your own interest. That's why now you are doing so many verbal argument, giving verbal threats, even sometimes physical attack also. Last stage is outcome. This stage basically tells us a final result of conflict. If your conflict is constructive, means you are doing so many arguments, you are doing so many debates on opposing ideas so that you can explore a new solution, that means outcome of conflict will good. On the other hand, if your conflict is dysfunctional, you are doing irrelevant arguments, that means outcome of conflict is not good. Now we will see some ways to handle workplace conflict. First is be mindful about your action. It is very important to understand appropriate behavior at workplace. It is very important to understand appropriate behavior at workplace. Your funny joke can offensive for someone. That's why carefully use your words at workplace. Second is accept differences. Don't think people will always accept your ideas and opinions. We all are different. We all have different way of thinking. That's why accept these differences. Next is facilitate open communication. Most of the conflict arise because of lack of communication. That's why improve your communication process and through communication clarify your differences. Next is listen carefully. Many of time we start doing argument without listening someone properly. First of all, listen other carefully, understand their emotions. Put yourself in a place of other person. Last is don't blame other for everything, accept your mistake also. So this is all about meaning of conflict, types of conflict, conflict process stages and some way to handle workplace conflict. I think you got it and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, take care.